We are in Matthew 7 looking at the Sermon on the Mount, and Jesus is right in the last chapter of it. And he says in Matthew 7:1, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged." Boy, this is the most well-known passage in the Bible among non-believers. They know this verse, though they often take it out of context. So, before we even get into talking about what Jesus teaches us about judging others or giving them constructive feedback, we want to talk about what Jesus is not saying. In Matthew 7:1, "Do not judge or you will be judged," Jesus is not teaching that we are not supposed to judge others. He's speaking in the tradition of biblical wisdom. When you read biblical wisdom literature like the Proverbs, he is speaking, this verse is a very terse and memorable verse that is meant to shock the people who listen. And you will see that below it in the context, Jesus is going to explain what he means by the things he says after this. And that context is what must be used to interpret this passage. Another reason that I know that Jesus is not saying you shouldn't judge is because somewhere else in the scriptures, Jesus himself teaches that do not judge by mere appearances, but judge with right judgment. And that passage is John 7:24. This would be contradiction. And another reason besides the scriptural testimony of John 7:24 and the fact that we know from context that Jesus is not teaching that we shouldn't judge, we also will know from common sense that we as humans cannot live without judging others. We have to judge ourselves and judge others. And by judge here, there are two key ways that the word judge is often used in the Bible. Judge as in to evaluate yourself, to self-examine, or to evaluate another person. Now, that's what we have to do. We have to do that to live. But then there's the judging, condemning, where God is the only one who has the power to be able to judge and condemn people to hell, for example, or to punishment. And God gives that power, the power to judge and punish people in certain situations, to governments and other people in authority to be able to do that. But we're focused here on evaluation of ourselves and others and loving correction. Okay, so that's something common sense, context, and Jesus' teaching elsewhere tells us that Jesus is not saying that we should not judge. So when your unbelieving friend or your friend who does not understand the scriptures well tries to quote this passage and tell you that you should not talk to them about things that are important that could help them grow spiritually, remind them that Jesus is speaking in an exaggerated proverbial manner and using this as a general statement that he enters into a conversation here to explain himself.